senior project. So, my senior project was on assisting and shadowing an art teacher, Mrs. Keller. My project consisted of doing like small, tedious things that go into all the projects behind art class, which included cutting paper and boards, mounting projects, which would later go into bulletin boards, and then submitting grades, breaking down projects to put into portfolios, which would go back to the kids later. My main part of my project was working with the kids. On Thursdays, I would work with kids of any grade to make up projects that they missed while they were absent during their lunchtime. Teaching them lessons and showing them the requirements and techniques. This was done all by myself, no help from teachers or Mrs. Keller. So I would just work from the instructions that I had beforehand, so this was stressful because I would forget a lot of stuff, so I just have to do the best of my ability to remember what she said, and yeah. The next big part of my project was working with second graders with Mrs. Keller. Here I would set up materials and tools. Here I would help students who are struggling, which is like just drawing certain shapes, objects, or applying glue. Cutting and surprisingly folding paper was hard for them to do. Help students who totally missed the instructions, so repeat the lesson once again. Repeat the same instructions over and over again, which is just like too much glue or which color to use, or repeat these same instructions like 4 times, and then they would probably get it after that. And then just giving tips and ideas. This is a big thing that I remember doing even in high school, so this made me realize that even if I do pursue this as a career, I should always have good ideas on hand and ask questions. And lastly, just to tell them that their piece looks good. Even if the piece doesn't look the best and fit up to my high school art standards, compliment their piece, especially if they followed all the instructions. You should make the students feel good about their project and about their work. So even in high school, when I would get complimented by Mrs. Keller or any other students, it would just make me feel better about it and make me pursue it as a hobby. Another big part about my project was working with the kids in second grade who had missed projects, so I would usually just teach like 3 or 4 kids at a time. A full lesson. Here I would have Mrs. Keller to remind me of instructions, and yeah, so. Okay, why did I choose my project? Interest and passion. I've always had a passion for art, especially when I started to get better at it in high school. I would usually hear from my peers that I should pursue this as a career. Although I wanted to, selling and making art takes a super long time to actually make money and get recognition. So it was until I started this project and assisting Mrs. Keller in the classroom that I found out that my passion is for teaching art. Growth. I wanted to get more experience in all the behind the scenes of what it is to be an art teacher. I wanted to be more involved in art.
Those got one side.
I wanted to be more involved in art rather than just the pieces. So there are so many things that there are so many things that I didn't know that goes into an art teacher before I started this project. So yeah, I also wanted to get more experience working with children. I've never really had worked with children much until now, so I'm glad I got to do it while I worked with my passion. Resources. I had so much resources already at hand, so I think it wouldn't have been smart of me not to use all of them. So yeah, I was already Mrs. Keller's TA, so talking to her about opportunities for my project was pretty easy. Yeah. How will my project benefit me, and what did I learn? It showed me what it really is to be an art teacher. After and during my project, I think I genuinely have gained so much more respect for teachers and what they have to go through with children and just everything behind the scenes. So yeah, it helped me work better with children. I think that this will benefit me in my career and in my leadership skills in the future. It showed me my true interests and responsibilities. Having responsibilities and being accountable was a big thing in my project. I was given the responsibility to carefully grade artwork, be responsible, to teach the kids the right material, and be responsible to show up when I was required to. Teamwork. I would also have to work alongside Mrs. Keller and sometimes even her other assistant. I would sometimes have to go pick up where her other assistant has left off, or even work together on a project to get done faster. This is for like end of the year stuff, bulletin boards, or even open house. I would also work alongside Mrs. Keller in the classroom and took responsibility and tried to answer as much questions to ease the weight on her. Okay, multitasking. This applies to mostly working inside the classroom. Sometimes there or multiple people needing help at the same time. So having like 10 kids raising their hand is pretty stressful. So that's something that I had to get used to. But yeah, okay, cons and pros. Cons. I had pretty bad organization skills going into this, so it was quite disciplining with organization, making sure I put everything back and not just leaving it out and putting it in the right spots. Multitasking. When you have 6 kids trying to get your attention, multitasking can be pretty stressful, so I did have to get used to it. Pros is dedication. It benefited me to be dedicated to something that I enjoy and have a passion for. I had to be dedicated to making sure that I would show up on the days, and doing this project made me go back to my old hobby that I did not have much time for because I wasn't in art class this year. But working with kind people. I had the advantage of working with a mentor who was very kind, which you don't always get in your career. So it was good to have people who were forgiving if you made a mistake, and there to compliment you if you did good at your job. Resource utilization. Even though teaching art might not be my official career, I had so much resources to take advantage of. My mentor was someone who I was pretty close with and comfortable, so I think it was a smart decision for me to use this opportunity to explore one of my career paths. That is all.